Hi, this is Scott Caulfield with Sophos Wealth Management. I am a CPA and a CFA charter holder. We're going to talk a little bit about the basics of Microsoft's deferred compensation program today, and then take a look at a hypothetical example to show just what kind of tax savings this can generate. So for those who are eligible, level 67 and above, this is a big potential opportunity. Typically, employees at that level are highly compensated today, and in a lot of cases, their future income, especially at retirement and beyond, will be quite a bit lower. Now, this creates a nice arbitrage opportunities where you can really, if you can push your income from these higher years into those lower income years, you can generate a lot of tax savings, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars. So the basics of the program. Deferral amounts, you can put 75% of your salary and 100% of your bonus. For new hires, you can put up to 90% of that sign-on bonus. Once the enrollment period ends, you cannot change the choice that you've made for that following year. In terms of the enrollment window, so November is when you make the salary election for the following year. May is when you make your bonus deferral election for the following fiscal year. So for that bonus, you won't actually get that deferral until the following September, almost a year and a half later. And for new hires, that sign-on bonus, you just have to make that enrollment before employment date starts. Now, with the deferred comp, you get an investment selection with it. So that deferred comp will grow in line with the returns of the investment you select. Kind of works like a 401k plan. There's a lineup of investment funds. Unlike a 401k plan, your money's not actually invested in the fund. Microsoft's going to credit that deferred compensation as if it were being invested in the fund, but there's no actual segregated account with investments or assets. And that's one of the risks of these deferred compensation plans, is that you are an unsecured creditor of your employer. So they have basically promised to pay you that money in the future, but unlike a 401k plan, which has a lot of investor protections and a segregated account with your money in it, that does not exist in this case. Fortunately for Microsoft employees, Microsoft's debt is rated AAA. They've got a really strong balance sheet. I think they're just a really solid position. So it's one of the lowest risk out there in terms of deferred comp plans. Now, the other election you make is the distribution schedule of that future deferred comp. So you can either elect to take it in a lump sum, let's say at retirement or a specified future date, or you can take it in annual installments and you spread those out over 3 to 15 years, beginning at either, again, a specified future date or upon retirement. If you want to change that distribution schedule, you cannot move it up earlier except in cases of extreme hardship or death. You are allowed to push the distribution back as long as you push it back a minimum of 5 years. And you have to do that at least a year in advance of the initial scheduled distribution. So a few restrictions around there. So let's look at an example. So this is a real simple example just to make it easy for you. If we take a highly compensated employee today, let's say makes $600K, half of which is their salary and bonus, that would put them at the 35% tax bracket, assuming that they are married filing jointly. If we suppose that same employee was going to make $75K in retirement, maybe on the low side, that would put them at the 22% tax bracket. So if we could shift $100,000 of that salary and bonus from this year to retirement, assuming no changes in the investment results and assuming no change in tax rates, that employee would save $13,000 in taxes by going from the high current tax bracket to the quite a bit lower. And while this is quite simplified, when you add up multiple years of high income and you're able to shift some of that to lower future income years, you can generate massive, massive tax savings. So this is, I think, a really great opportunity for employees who are interested and have the cash flow to be able to take advantage of this now. I think a lot does go into determining if this makes sense for you. You have to kind of look at your current cash flow. How much can you afford to defer? Can you kind of live off some vested RSUs? Projecting out in the future, what do you think your your future income is going to look like in retirement. What are your RMDs going to be out of retirement accounts? What other sources of income do you have? Do you have rental income, other properties, spouse, so on and so forth? But that I think by taking advantage of some planning, you can really generate a lot of tax alpha here and a lot of savings. So always happy to do a free consultation. We can kind of look at your situation and see what might make sense for you. Other than that, thanks for tuning in today.